Hey everybody, I am David, and today I'm going to be talking about Arrow, Season 6, Episode 21, Docket number 11, 19, 41, 73. And Oliver, it should have really been called The People versus Oliver Queen, but okay, let's get into this. So this whole episode takes place in court, pretty much. And Oliver Queen is finally on trial. I think we've had him on trial before for being the Green Arrow. We all thought, or at least I thought, it was all done with. This is the episode that's going to reveal his identity to the world. I still think it's going to happen, but let's dive into some of this stuff. All his allies are put on the stand. Well, except Mr. Terrific, he wasn't. But Dinah, as well as Renee, and eventually Laurel as well, and John Diggle. That beginning with the whole John Diggle thing, I kind of knew that was setting up Tommy Merlin, because they showed Tommy Merlin in the previews. I don't know why they did that. It would have been much better as a surprise. But yeah, it showed him in, I forgot the place he was at right now, but he comes like parachuting down like a badass and gets this guy. And at that point, I'm thinking, okay, that must be Tommy, that must be Tommy Merlin. And then as the episode continues, and we get to that moment where the Green Arrow crashes into the courtroom and it's revealed to be Tommy Merlin, I said to myself right when it went on break, this is Human Target. So it just made sense to me. It made sense to me that it was going to be Human Target, because how are they going to explain that Tommy Merlin is back from the dead? That is a big stretch, even for longtime viewers of the show. Even though I would have loved Tommy Merlin coming back from the dead, the explanation would have been weak. We all know this. We all know the writers can't come up with good explanations all the time, especially on big things like that. It's always like a disappointing revelation. Like they couldn't come up with a reason why Oliver should have been alive after the mid-season finale of season 3. So they wouldn't come up with a good explanation on how Tommy was alive. So I'm glad it turned out to be Human Target, because it was a nice little treat. And then they used it at the end, which I wasn't expecting. They came back with Human Target again, being the judge, who I said, oh, okay, so I guess the judge wasn't as bad as they were making him out to be. But then we find out that, no, it's Human Target. And so the second time, it was like, okay, they got me on that one. They didn't get me on Tommy Merlin, but they got me on the judge. So I was pleasantly happy with that one. This episode had a lot of good emotional moments for Oliver Queen. I'm telling you, when the show focuses on its main character, that's when I think the show really strengthens up. Specifically, that talk between Oliver and William, when Oliver feels like, okay, it's going to be up. I'm going to be going to prison. So he's trying to be upfront with Williams, telling him, look, the judge is corrupt. He's bought out by Diaz. Most likely the jury is too. So most likely I'm letting you know I'm going to prison, but Felicity is going to take care of you. I really like that moment. I thought it was a very strong moment for Oliver, as not just as a hero, but as a father as well. And we haven't seen too much of that this season. I thought we would have gotten a lot more of that side of Oliver this year, ever since William went into his care, but we never really got too much of that. William just pops up here and there throughout the season, which is fine. I'm not mad about that, because yeah, I think they give us good doses of William. Felicity is the one they have to tone down on a little bit more. Sometimes she can be a really good character, but when she gets all dramatic and soap opera-y, it's like, I don't want Felicity in this scene. And there were some moments like that with her. And, oh well. I did like that scene where Renee is on trial, where he's on the stand. And Diaz comes with his daughter in the courtroom, threatening Renee that, hey, you better say what's on your mind because look who I have here. That solidified to me that Diaz, he has to die. Look, you can threaten the characters without bringing their kids into it, and I probably wouldn't have hated you so much, but the fact that you did that, you're gonna have to die now, Diaz. When you bring family into the conversation, no. That ain't good. And then we got this whole situation with Laurel. I did like that scene early on in the episode where we see Quentin Lance being interviewed. If he knew who the Green Arrow was, and he's like denying it. I like how all of Team Arrow just lies in court. I know they're trying to help Oliver keep it secret, but I mean, you're supposed to tell the truth in court, and yeah, we'll tell the truth, but except that part. But they have to like constantly lie about other things too that the Green Arrow has done. So there we go on that. But yes, Laurel walks into the new after Lance gets done being questioned, and they say to Laurel, "Hey, do you know who the Green Arrow is?" And Laurel says she'll testify in court. And Diaz sees this eventually on television, and he's kind of upset. He's like, "Why didn't you say it there and then?" Like, you know. And Laurel's like, "I want to keep everybody on suspense, I guess." And that's where we get into this situation where Laurel's now in court later in the episode, and she doesn't testify. She says it was Tommy Merlin instead. So now everybody thinks Tommy Merlin is alive, as far as we all last known, because, you know, Laurel didn't backtrack on her words. She didn't say what she was going to, so now the world thinks that Tommy Merlin is the Green Arrow. I think we're going to find out the truth on that. I think the world will find out the truth eventually. The world's going to find out. But Diaz, when he is threatening Laurel, I was worried for Laurel's safety because Diaz, he has the crazy eye. And, you know, the actor playing Diaz has been doing a phenomenal job this season. I wish they had used him more ever since Caden James was killed, because Caden James was a great villain too. And then when they killed him off and was starting to use Diaz, I was like, really? We're focusing on this guy now as the main villain? I really liked Michael Emerson as the main villain earlier, but this guy has been proving his worth. And when they're not making him boring and talking too much and going through trials, I liked seeing him here because you can feel that. Like, I'm worried for Laurel's safety. I was like, please don't kill another Laurel. We already went through that. Don't do this to me again. And I was so happy when Laurel actually used her power against him, when she used the sonic scream, and he like flew all the way back. I was like, yes, that's the Laurel I know. I sound like Lance now. And unfortunately, he got the upper hand when she was about to kill him, because he had the device that could stop her from screaming. I was like, oh, shit. So it looks like he's going to cause a lot of trouble for Team Arrow next week. It looks like Team Arrow is starting to get back together. There was a lot of forgiveness going on in this one. And that kind of annoyed me a little bit in the episode because everybody knew it was going to happen. When this whole Civil War thing happened earlier on in the season, when the two teams were splitting, everybody was like, they're going to forgive each other by the end and they're going to hug and kiss. And that, I mean, literally at the end of the episode, Renee opens the door and it's Oliver and they shake hands, forgive each other. So it looks like Team Arrow is slowly, not even slowly, they're coming back together next week. Watch. So, especially since Diaz is going after all of them next week. That's the only way you're gonna survive. So, yeah, I guess that's it, guys. This was a good episode. I liked the court stuff. I liked a lot of stuff that was going on. There's a little nitpicks here and there. It wasn't a perfect episode, but much better than I think last week. I think last week's episode I was kind of annoyed by. And the dragon episode, the one where Diaz goes through the gauntlet to get into power, whatever, he wanted a seat at the table. That episode, I liked it at first, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, maybe it wasn't that great. So hopefully this episode, we're in the last 2 episodes now. I think this was a nice lead-in to the last 2 episodes. Let's hope the next 2 episodes can continue the momentum and hit a home run. Because I want another season finale like last season. Just don't blow up everybody on an island, because then you're going to screw yourselves when you have to explain how everybody survived. So, yeah, don't go all out like that. So, until next time, everybody, I hope you guys comment below. Tell me your thoughts on the episode. Like this video if you agree with me. Subscribe to my channel, especially if you're a huge fan of the Arrowverse. And until next time, take care.